Just trying to get things set up here the way I like them. Okay, let's get this show on the road. Ladies, gentlemen, pronouns, lend me your ears. Crazy Kid back for another live stream. This week here is just going to be a short little um, live stream. Not a whole lot went on this week. Um, Kyle Larson won the race with dominating fashion like he normally does. Um, Aside from that, Tuesday my brother come over. He had this whole week off last week, and he come over and we had these chicken fajitas, and I didn't have any fajita mix, so I was like, "Well, what do I got that I can make do with?" Because that's what you got to do. In order to keep yourself going, you just make do. So what I did was I took one of those ramen noodle chicken flavorings, the packages, because my mom makes salad out of the noodles. So she gives me the packages of the flavorings, and I just added some seasoning salt and some chili powder. And I was like, "Man, that smells like fajita mix." Then I just treated it like normal taco seasoning. Ooh, boy, did that ever turn out pretty good. But yeah, it was just one of those things. You just gotta, you know, you think about something for dinner, and all of a sudden, while you're making, it's like, oh shit, I don't have this, and it's like, oh, gotta make do with what you got. And we were gonna have quesadillas, like pull out the quesadilla maker and make some quesadillas, but the tortilla shells were just a little bit too small to fit in the quesadilla maker. So I was like, okay, we got to pivot. Okay, we'll just make tacos or burrito or fajitas or whatever. We'll just fold it over, put some cheese in there, and away we go. And yeah, that's what we ended up doing there. Uh, I got 99% of the Halloween special done. Um, Two videos came back with worldwide blocks on them. One was the request from Nicole, which was Everybody by the Backstreet Boys. Oh, really? Well, is it He Who Should Not Be Named? um, but um, the other was Michael Jackson's Thriller, and I knew that one was going to be. I was going to have a monster issue with that one because well, it's Michael Jackson, and the promoting and company that holds oh holds the copyrights on his music are just like out for the money. But yeah, uh, could be any number of reasons. Um, that's I'll have to. I'm gonna have to talk to Tammy about that and see what happened. Oh yeah, yeah. Um, Copy, paste. I'll leave that up there until you get up here. Oh, Manila. How are you enjoying Manila? But, um, yeah, that's some pretty exciting news there. Okay, here's Nicole.
Hello.
Hello. So, what happened with your daughter?
Well, when she went to the um, court hearing the last Thursday, the mother didn't even show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that just basically says that you know
My daughter
your
got the
daughter is
guardian.
here for the child, and the other one is not.
Yeah, and the judge, my daughter sent me this, said that the mother would basically have to be free of substance use, be involved with the child, deal with her mental health, and get a steady job in place. And none of that's going to happen.
So, in other words, things are looking really shiny for your daughter.
Yeah, she got the guardianship. She wrote
Oh,
me
that's
that.
great! That's great news. Congratulations. Send her our congratulations. You know, we were all pulling for her.
Oh, she was very happy because it was the day before her birthday, and that was
Oh
the best
yeah,
birthday gift she could have got. And
no doubt, no doubt.
we're taking her to dinner this coming Thursday to celebrate. And
Well, just tell her that that the Crazy Kid channel has been behind her 100%. So
she was over the moon with excitement when she heard that she had the guardianship.
yeah.
So she wrote me as soon as she got out of the courthouse and said, "I got it. I got the guardianship." I said, "See, you were stressed for nothing."
Yep.
I told her the night before. I said, "You're stressing yourself too much. Calm down."
Yeah, but it's always good to have supporters in your background.
Yeah, and she
So this way
walked in
here,
with she walked in with a big binder full of stuff, on the
oh
mother.
wow, wow, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Not only for her, but for the child.
Hmm.
Now the child's got a better chance at a better life.
And now everybody's calling me grandma. I said, I don't care. I said, it's like, I've got a grandson now. So,
Yep. Yeah, it'd be like like I don't have any kids that I know of. But if one came along, all of a sudden, my mom would be like, "Okay, now I'm a grandma. How do I react to this?"
I've got a couple of I got a brother and a sister that have multiple kids by multiple people, and I can't keep track of them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, one thing I wanted to ask the membership here, the collective here, because these are the people that watch my channel all the time, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any Christmas songs that you want to see me react to? Whether they be comedy Christmas songs or like good wholesome Christmas songs. Just kind of, I'll put a community post up about that. So that's another thing I want. That's another one of the things I wanted to talk about today. Even though I almost didn't do a live stream today because I've been doing a lot of thinking and soul searching and stuff like that. Because a dear old friend of mine passed away on Wednesday.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I hadn't seen him in years, but I still always considered him as a dear friend, dear to my heart, because when I was in my not so friendly stage, he was instrumental in making me and turning me into the person that I am today. And I have ever since then been grateful and thankful for his friendship. And his son came on Saturday and delivered pizza. My brother and I, we had pizza while we were watching the race. And he just like nonchalantly goes, "Yeah, Dad passed on Wednesday." Oh, no way. Like, and all of a sudden, like, how you get that horrible news, all of a sudden those fond memories of that person just flood your mind. Oh, thank you, Kiki and Jasmine. One of the one time I remember being with them, there was myself, my friend George, his brother Jim, and his wife Donna. We were all hanging out in Windsor, meeting some friends and stuff like that. I think that was the night that I met Bob Clark, uh, the right hand man to Lee Iacocca in Chrysler, Canada. And we're just sitting there, you're kind of, meeting and greeting people and stuff like that. And we're sitting there shooting the breeze, and I was making these people laugh all afternoon long. And and it was cold that day. It was like end of February, end of January, beginning of February, around there. And so we went out to get the car to bring it back to the door, so this way here Donna didn't have to, trudge the terrible weather. And it was blowing. It was icy cold. The icebergs on Detroit River were like 15 feet tall, and they were sharp. And you would, if the wind blew straight in your face, you would instantly have tearsicles streaming towards your ears. That's how cold it was. So we're sitting there. We get out into the weather, and all of a sudden, my friend George says, "Oh my God, geez, it's so cold out here." He goes, "It's so cold out here, you can freeze your Dewey off." And I'm sitting there shivering myself because I'm cold too. And I was like, "George, it's cold when Huey and Louie follow." That 1 hour trip between Windsor and where I live took us 3 hours to get home. Not because the weather was bad, because George couldn't stop laughing. He'd start laughing, he'd pull over, and he'd sit there and laugh for about 10, 15 minutes. And then he'd get back out on the road for about another 20 minutes, then get, it was like almost like, every 40 miles or 40 feet, we'd have a freaking flat or something like that. It was funny. I was like, "George, you want me to drive? I'm fine. I can drive." So
yeah,
that was one of the good times that I had with that particular friend. And that's something that I'll always remember.
The funny story about my kids when they were little was, there's this Christmas song my dad had me listen to when I was little, and I passed it on to my kids, called "Snow for Johnny." It's by Conway Twitty and Tweety Bird.
Okay, like I said, once I get the community post all drawn up.
Yeah, the thing behind this song is when it started snowing, and we were on the verge of taking the kids home because they live with my parents because of my seizures, before my parents passed away. And then they had us play it on repeat, and it started snowing harder and harder and harder, and they thought they were doing it. And we didn't tell them no different. We let them believe what they wanted. They were, so young back then, it was funny. We just let them believe what they wanted, and so that's what they thought.
Oh, so it wasn't who I was thinking, Kiki and Jasmine? He's on the other side of the country. He is another one that needed to go. Yeah, there's a couple of creators that all they do is pick out little things that people say, change the context and change what it means, and then publish that as their own content. Yeah, he's like a bad penny, big time. And there's one on either side of the United States, and the one the one that Kiki and Jasmine's talking about, he's been going at quite a few creators, and he says he'll say, "Oh, when I make a mistake, I'm man enough to admit it. but he never does.
One of those type.
Yep. Yeah, definite narcissist.
I hate people like that. I'm sorry. I just can't. No. I
You know,
mean,
I don't mind if a person's a narcissist. Just like,
man up
don't
to it.
be blatant about it.
You
Like,
know, I mean, if you're gonna do something like that, man up to it. You know, take your responsibility like a man
at
or a
least,
woman. You know,
yeah,
depending.
at least the least you can do if you're going to be a narcissist is to make sure that you are actually correct.
Exactly.
You know,
That's,
if you're just saying that, oh, I know because I know. Well, what's it like to know everything?
well, I'm on a live stream on Friday nights. You know, with another channel, and I mean, sometimes they know about stuff. Sometimes they don't because it's a country live stream and they're new to country. So I fill them in on the facts, of course, because you know me
Yep.
with my country facts.
Yep.
That's why I'm there, and I help them out. And I'm not trying to be a know-it-all, and sometimes I don't. And I look to the chat to help me with the answers.
Yep.
So I'll tell them the truth. If I don't know, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd rather hear somebody say, listen, I don't know the exact facts on that. Let me go check it out, and then I'll get back to you. That tells me that, they're smart enough to know when they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also smart enough to look up the real information.
Now, if it comes to Toby Keith, I can fill you in on anything pretty much on him. I mean, I'm a huge Toby Keith fanatic. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like the tribute they showed on NBC of Toby Keith, I picked out the ones I liked, the ones I didn't like. And
yeah.
Some people will probably disagree with me on Lainey Wilson, but I don't care. I don't like her. The girl cannot do a tribute to
she's
save
one of
her.
those. She's one of those artists. I can take her for some of her stuff, but some of her other stuff, I'm like, I don't think so.
Tribute, she cannot do.
No.
Because she tried to do Bear for My Horses, and she was not singing; she was yelling. I'm like, you're supposed to sing the song, not yell it into the microphone, and you're singing with Jamie Johnson.
It's been just fresh. Oh, the wound is just fresh on that one. Oh, that is even more priceless. That is even more priceless. Oh my God. Well, I've been keeping up with the comments about the channel that just got knocked down. Yeah, it's quite an interesting situation. Like, that's some news. I'm glad I didn't cancel my live stream today. That has actually made me feel happy. Because he actually, the person that, if it's the person I'm thinking of, RJ and I were on his channel shooting the breeze about, if you're going to go traveling to another country, if you're going to go migrate to another country, even if you're just going to go visit in another country, it's a good idea to learn the customs, learn some of the laws so you're not going to break them, and respect the people that are there, because you're the visitor. You're the one who can be extradited. And at least learn a little bit of workable language, so this way here you can get to where you need to go. Like, there's nothing more frustrating than going into a cab and saying, can you take me to the restaurant, and they end up taking you to the police station. Well, those are two totally different things. So it's just one of those things. And I said, and if you don't abide by the laws, respect the people, respect the culture, and respect the country that you're in, there's a plane that leaves every day. Get the fuck on one, and go the hell home. And that particular content creator called me a racist for saying that.
There's nothing racist about that.
No, it's rude. But I'll admit that it's rude to say, get on a plane and get the fuck out of here. But it's honest. But respect the place that you're going to visit.
But
If you don't respect their laws, you're going to jail.
What's the difference in people, saying something like that, about respect, the place you're going to, and the people that are here in America saying they're going to leave if a certain person gets elected?
Yeah, well, the thing about it is, we get every time you guys have an election, our immigration offices are full for months for people trying to get out of the United States because they don't like who just got elected. It happens every time.
One of my least favorite artists said herself, if Trump gets elected, that she's leaving. I said, see ya.
Yeah, I'm not a real big Trump fan. I'm not a real big Biden fan. But
Biden's more of a puppet.
The thing about it is, people need to realize the main thing about politics. They only get an equal vote on the topic at hand. So all the president, vice president, prime minister, and so on, the leader of the country is nothing more than the sock puppet of the politics.
And
the one who's just basically got to explain, what they're trying for and what actually happened.
Well, the recent debate they had on ABC was rigged.
Aren't they all?
Every question that Kamala was asked was rehearsed, and every question Trump was asked, they just threw at him, and he had no idea. And whenever Trump, Kamala wanted Trump to get cut off, she gave him a certain smile or a certain look or something, and they cut Trump off mid-sentence.
Yeah. And, the thing about it is, you have a political debate televised and promoted by a particular media source that has their own political agenda. Okay? So if the Democrats, if the media source is a Democrat, when the politics or the politicians are in a debate, the Democrat is always going to end up winning that debate because they're going to have more power than the visiting Republican. It's the same thing here in Canada. We have 3 different main bodies for politics. We have the progressive conservatives, we have the liberals, and we have the New Democratic Party. Being that there's a trifecta there, okay, we have multiple outlets of media sources. Hey, Larry, where you have some that are for the NDP, some that are for the CP, some that are for PPC or whatever, and some that are for the liberals. Well, depending on who's covering, who's doing the main covering of that event, you're going to see how heavily weighted the debates are going to be in favor of that particular party. And it's like that all over the world. Depending on who's footing the bill, that's who's getting the spotlight.
Well, Kamala said she got the vote of every woman, and I said, no, you don't. I said, you don't have my vote whatsoever because of one reason, and that's the fact that she supports abortion, and I am against abortion. I'm sorry. If you got, pregnant, then you shouldn't kill an innocent life. If you don't want the baby, give it up for adoption.
Yeah. See, when it comes to that, I'm like, on one hand, yeah, I say, if you're going to do the deed, if you're going to do the crime, suffer the penalty. But if the baby was conceived because of a crime, then there's that kind of there's a loophole. That baby is not going to be seen as the same loving child that she would have normally had with her loving partner. If she was forced, into a intimate position in order to conceive that child, then yeah, I'd say if the mother doesn't want it, then get, time to hook up the blender, But that's just my opinion. And there are people that do share that opinion, but that's just my opinion. If it's going to be a child that's not going to get the same love and care and compassion as her other children because of a um, forced intimate situation, then that child is not going to end up with the same morals, values, and upbringing as the other ones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, is it really fair to have that animosity between mother and child forced upon them? That's where I say, every shoe has a foot to go into it.
That's why I say, there's certain circumstances when the child could be given up for adoption, but if there's a health issue involved or certain particular reason, then I can see an abortion, but just to kill the child because you don't want it, I don't approve of whatsoever.
Just because, like you had a drunken moment and you didn't protect yourself. You woke up next to the person that you thought the night before was, Prince Charming or Queen, Queen of Arabia, but ended up to being Prince Charles and, the Queen of the Night. Then, but it's just that's where those fine line gray areas YouTube does not like. Like they don't like people talking about pro-choice, pro-life, politics. They don't like people talking religion and so on and so forth, because if it doesn't match up with somebody else's religion, all of a sudden the gates of hell are just going to open up, and it's just going to be a big old shit show.
Just like like I told you about the mother or so-called mother of that child that my daughter is taking care of. She has a YouTube channel.
Oh yeah?
How? I don't know. I came across her page myself because I seen her TikTok. It says, "Help me get my pages monetized." I looked. I said, "There's no way. She's only got 2 followers."
Yeah, it's going to take her a while.
She's not posting any content except for songs that she likes. She's not a reactor or anything. She's just posting songs on there. I'm like,
so she put somebody else's content on her channel and wondering why she's not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, the copyright laws will really have fun with her, especially if she goes into something like Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Like Michael Jackson, Backstreet Boys. Yeah, those are blocked worldwide. You have to dispute those.
Because she's got I don't know how many
damn good dispute.
And one of her artists is Eminem. She posts him all the time.
I haven't done any Eminem videos, but I don't see how his would really be too heavily flagged. But like I can see monetization not being able to get it unless you dispute it. I just got to read this for a minute. Shut down permanent because I watched the live stream last night when I clicked on it a few hours ago. It said channel. Oh wow! Way to go, YouTube! You got one right. Oh, now we just got to go out and go find another person to go after that other creator, and then we can get one of the most dangerous people on YouTube off. The guy gives dangerous advice. Calls himself a life coach. Nope. But yeah, I'm happy that channel got knocked down. That'll put a big dent in his pocketbook, because last I heard is the creator that just got knocked down today was vacationing in the Philippines. So if he's vacationing in the Philippines, he might be running out of money real fast. Even though the cost of living over there is a whole lot less, he goes over there and he starts acting like a big shot.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna find out that he ain't gonna have any extra money coming in, because when YouTube shuts your channel down, all money that, like, from the last time you got paid, any money that you have incurred up to that point becomes forfeit. So hit this entire month, you get nothing for it. Nada. If they owe him any money, it becomes forfeit for violating the terms of service and the code of conduct. It's, that's a heavy penalty, especially if that's your only income. Oh,
And I've seen quite a few channels that do YouTube full time.
yeah. I know a whole bunch of channels that do YouTube full time. And if they ever got smacked down, oh, it would be a big dent in their pocket. But yeah, that's what happens when you attack and attack and attack and attack, and when you get proven wrong, you don't come back and say, "Listen, hey, I'm a jerk. I'm a moron. I screwed up." That's good. That's really good. All I know is, like, as far as my channel goes, you know, thank you. Somebody is not following me around as much. So, yeah, I'm like busting out laughing inside myself, John. I can't believe it. I think this is funny. I just wish RJ Sandifer was here, because RJ and I, that's actually how I met RJ. Yeah, I bet he's in total panic mode. That's how I met RJ. Is I saw RJ, I saw him basically beating down on RJ like while he was on his stream. He was just basically ripping RJ up, and I was like, RJ's got nothing. He's got no. Um, he's not saying anything wrong. He's stating all facts, and this guy was just tearing him up. And I was like, man, that dude's a moron. That dude's an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna see if I can just quickly put in an invite to RJ. Find out if he actually comes up. But yeah, that's I think that is funny. Funny. Yeah, I wish if RJ was here, he'd be on the panel and we'd be laughing our faces off. Because I'm pretty sure the two of us could come up with some real prime jokes about it. Well, That's going to keep me awake all night. Thanks a lot. I'm going to be laughing all night long. That's the best news I've heard in a long time. That's the best news I've heard since I was told how much I'm allowed to make over and above what my pension is on my disability pension is. That is the best news I've heard since then. And I'm still reeling about that. I'm still thinking, damn, that's the happiest news in the world, But yeah, it's fantastic. One thing I will say about what's going on with the channel is we're over 5,100 watch hours. 5,100 watch hours over the 365-day period. So, it doing the 3 days a week really didn't bend too much in the form of, how much views I was getting. But at the end of this month, literally next week, it's going to spool back up to the every day. Thanks, Kiki and Jasmine. Yeah, I'm going to be spooling that back up next week. It's going to be one a day. So I'm going to be cracking out videos, like pumping the videos out over the next couple of weeks, just to see how close to Christmas I can get before too long. I definitely want to be done my Christmas videos by Halloween. Yes, you all did your best. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Congratulations to all who played a part on his downfall. However small, we all did our best. That's what happens when a whole bunch of people put in a little bit of effort. It becomes a great big effort. It's just like, when people are watching the videos that I create. It's not one person that's doing all that. It's a whole bunch of people, clicking the video, going, "Hey, I want to watch this," and watch it all the way to the end, and check out the ads, and that's what the ads is where I get paid the most. But that's that's how YouTube works, and that's how real life works. Just like and thank you, Kiki and Jasmine. I didn't say that to get that. That thank you very much. I really appreciate that. But that's Henry Ford didn't say, I'm going to build a car and then go out there and build 700 cars in a year. You got a whole bunch of people together, put in a little bit of effort each, and then they put out 700 cars a year. Same thing with knocking that no good channel down. More people saying that content is not what should be on YouTube. Then YouTube takes a look at it and says, you know what, you're right. Off it goes. So it's not just one person that did that. It was a whole group effort of people that didn't like his channel and didn't like the stuff that he was that he was doing or saying. So it was just inevitable, him running his gate like he does, running his gate down to people like he's King Turd on Turd Mountain. So it's just one of those things, shit may flow downhill, but happiness goes uphill. A little bit of happiness makes a whole lot of people happy. Mm-hmm. And that makes me happy. Like I said, that's the happiest news I've heard since I was told how much money I was allowed to make. I was like, fantastic. Oh yeah. I haven't even really been looking at his channel. I used to, like when right after he called me a racist for saying something that was rude but not racist, I'd been checking to make sure that he wasn't continuing on that line. Because anytime he said anything about me, yeah, I would fire it off to YouTube saying, listen, this guy is basically slandering me for no reason. And, apparently after a while, YouTube said, you're getting way too many strikes against you. Bye. And that's
Which is
all.
what they need to do.
What's that?
I said, which is what they need to do more often,
Yep.
actually.
Yep. Yeah, it took a few years, but like I had only heard of the guy like literally when I met RJ. And right away I didn't like him. Right away I did not like him. And then I found Reality Check Files channel, and I was seeing all the other stuff that he had been saying. I was like, whoa, yeah, I really don't like this guy. I just, this, I would not want to be locked in a room with this dude and be held responsible for what happens. Hell no.
Oh, I'm glad people like that.
Oh yeah. I've met a whole lot of people like that. And it's one of those things I just don't want the hassles of having that kind of situation happen again. I changed who I was I changed from who I was to who I am now, and I like who I am now. I don't like who I was. That guy was the kind of guy that I would literally cross the street to get away from.
You wouldn't believe this, but I used to get in fights all the time, in high school. I mean, my folder was like this thick of how many fights I got into. The box alone was that big, and it filled all the way up from how many times I got suspended.
Well, I never got suspended. For some reason, they didn't think, I don't think that they realized, well, I think they realized that they needed to keep me in the school in order to push me through the school. Okay. That's what I'm, like finding out now. They had to keep me in the school, had to keep my attendance up in order to push me, make it look like I was doing it just to push me through. But my file, when they traded my file from one end of town where the public school was, to the other end of town where the high school was, there was a transport with a 53-foot trailer behind it hauling my file. Everybody else who graduated that year, there was a little box in the passenger seat. So, like I used to get like tag teamed by 6 guys at the same time every single day. And the only thing that the school did was send me to a psychiatric ward and saying, why does this guy want to get beat up every day? I don't want to get beat up every day. I don't want to even get hit every day.
With me, it was every time I had a seizure, in school, the kids would make fun of me. And me defending myself because no one else would, they suspended me instead of the one picking on me.
Yep. They don't look at the ones creating the problem. They only look at the ones finishing it.
I was like, that's not fair to me at all. Why am I getting suspended for defending myself because I have a medical condition?
Yeah.
And my son has fever seizures. He don't have regular seizures. So if his fever gets up to 102 or something, he'll have one, but that's it.
Yeah.
thankfully, I was like, well, I'm glad he don't have to deal with what I did in school.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it was like literally just a few years after I got out of high school. I get out of high school, all of a sudden, there's this, zero tolerance for physical abuse. Great.
Mm-hmm.
You're a few years too late for that one.
My principal at my high school was so stupid. I swear, this dude, okay, to punish me, and that because he said, "Well, apparently suspending you and expelling you ain't working." I'm like, okay. He said, "So we're gonna put you in NJROTC." I was like, "What? That's a punishment? You're putting me in a class with guns?" I was like, "Are you an idiot?"
Unruly, physically abusive, willing to get into fights, hot temper. I got it. Let's put her in a school with weapons. That's the most fantastically stupid idea I have ever heard.
I'm there looking at him going, "You've got to be kidding me, right?" He said, "It's the best idea I ever heard." I was like, "Do you hear you?"
I'm going to go there. And now you're taking the most physically active person, the physically violent person, and you're giving me weapons to play with. Fucking thanks. I really appreciate that. That's just awesome. I get to learn how to properly use these things. Awesome. That would be like when I was 23, even after destroying that heavy bag, them putting me into basic training and having a staff sergeant yelling in my face. Out of my way. Point me to enemy.
And like a few years later, I went to pick up my little, adopted sister, but she's not really my sister, from the high school. The same principal was there, and he walked out. He sees me. He said, "Oh God, it's you." I was like, "Well, nice to see you too." My husband looked at me and said, "Am I missing something?"
I would have looked him square in the eye and said, "Remember that class that you sent me to with all them weapons in it? I learned how to use every single one of them. Thanks."
Oh, I can shoot. I mean, my husband has taken me target practice with him because he's a hunter.
Yeah.
And he had cans set up, and I said, "Can I shoot?" He said, "Go ahead." And I said, "Okay." And I took a shot, and him and his dad both swore I missed. I said, "I did not miss that can." He said, "That can did not move." I said, "I don't care. I did not miss." I said, "Go look." And he walked out there and looked, and next thing I know,
a nice little drill hole right through it, eh?
Oh yeah, straight through, did not can over nothing. Yeah. And that's when they said, "Remind me not to piss her off."
I went to the gun range with some friends that were getting into hunting, and one guy was already he already had some rifles and weapons and stuff like that. And so we go out to the gun range, and he's like, and I was just there to watch. I just wanted to see what these guys were all interested in. And they're all like, "Hey, you want to take a shot?" And I'm like, you do realize and know what they call me, right? And they're all like, "Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you're smart enough to take some suggestions." So they show me how to work the safety and all that other stuff. Load it. So I load it up. I hit the safety out. First shot, right into the middle of the target, and they're like, "Holy shit, the guy's an ace." The next shot, I aimed at the same place. Oh, it was like all over the place. Like just that first shot, right in the center. But after hanging out with them for a few years at the gun ranges and stuff like that, they just let me fire their weapons. I never bought any, but like they were like, "Oh, I'm thinking about getting a 357 Magnum." Like, oh, cool. And they're like, "Yeah, want to squeeze off a couple of rounds?" Sure. Put a couple of rounds in there. Thing was like a rocket in my hands. Yeah, that thing there did a kickback on that. I was like, holy shit, this thing here's got some power to it. And then they gave me a 9mm to fire. And I ended up getting what they call that snake bite, where the chamber comes back on the first shot. Well, it come back and it got me. 2 little marks there looked like I got bit by a snake. But yeah, I squeezed off about 9-10 rounds off that. That was a fun little weapon to hit. But the one that scared me the most was the AK-47. And I didn't even know the guy. I was just waiting, for the guys to, get done with the 357 Magnum. And this guy looks over at me and goes, "Hey, you seem pretty cool. You want to squeeze off a few rounds on this thing here?" I looked at it, it's an AK-47. When am I ever going to get the opportunity, right? I let a few rounds off that thing there. Man, I tell you, that thing's got some kick. That thing's got a little bit of kick to it. But the one that had the most kick was my buddy's 410. I think it was a 410 he had. It was a 4 something. That thing was damn near tore my shoulder off. Like that thing had some power to it. Wow. Like I've shot 30-odd sixes, and that was nothing compared to this dude's 410 or 4 something. It was I can't remember what the caliber of the gun was, but wow. It was a shotgun for shooting deer or bull or bear or whatever. Well, they always say that, you should never use a firearm when you're using a bottle. And Ireland also has a a stigma or stereotype that they're the best partiers in the world. So, I can see why there's a big thing about firearms, that and the IRA and whatnot like that. And yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to get too aggressive on that description. Because I remember one time we were shoot skeeting out at my one friend's farm when I was in welding class. And he goes, "Yeah, come on, let's do some skeet shooting." All right. So he sets up his skeet shooter, and we're all standing in line behind him. And he's like, pulls, he hit the button, and this thing flies off. And then he goes, bang, bang, and he fires, and he shoots them both down. And then he goes, "All right, who's next?" He loads it up for us. And so I was there, and I was like, "All right, pull." And I hit the first one, but I missed the second one. For some stupid reason, my first shot is like balls on accurate. My second shot, I may as well just throw a freaking water balloon at it. But yeah, the first shot, the second shot, nothing. So yeah, I handed it back to him. I was, "All right, thanks a lot." The next person came up, and then we, put the weapon away, and then we got into the booze, and boy, did we get into the booze. Oy, caramba, that was a party and a half. Yeah, I couldn't imagine, being all fucked up like that. Oh, hell no. But
yeah, but can you imagine having a stupid principal trying to, put you in a class with guns, knowing the trouble troublemaker.
Yeah, I'm going to take the biggest troublemaker we got, put them in a room full of weapons, and see what happens.
Especially, I mean, I had to go to guidance counselor in middle school just because of a dumb threat I made, and I was like, "Look, it was a threat, okay? I wasn't going to follow through."
Yeah, it was words.
And it was all because I threatened to put rat poisoning in a girl's food. I didn't mean it. I wasn't going to do it.
You said it was an idea. Yeah, but see, here in Canada, the biggest troublemakers are the ones we don't want to have access to weapons. It's like, okay.
I thought that's how it worked here, too, but apparently my principal was the stupidest one of all, so...
Yeah.
As Jeff Dunham puppet Peanut says,
Yeah, right over the head.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I got to get another coffee. Be right back. I am laughing my butt off about that content creator getting shut down still. I just can't believe I just can't, get over that. I think that's the most fantastic news I've heard all day. Yeah. Yeah. There's another one that we gotta look at. But one down, and it's about time. About time. I just wonder if that other content creator's gonna start shaking in his boots. Because he's been doing the same thing as the one that just got shut down. But yeah, it's about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So if the people that have been trolling me are still watching, thanks for the extra hour. That's what I never could understand about these trolls. The people that troll other people, they go and they watch their content and they bitch about it and bitch about it and bitch about it. And they're wondering why that person is still making content. Okay. They're still making content because somebody's watching it. If nobody watched their content, their channel would just eventually wither out into nothing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the trolls are watching the content, they're keeping that person in business. It's like somebody saying, "Well, I hate McDonald's," and then going into McDonald's for a pop. Yeah, YouTube's very slow to act. But it's like, saying I hate McDonald's hamburgers, and going in there and having a chicken sandwich. Well, you're still freaking keeping them afloat. You're still giving them money. If you want to freaking, ice somebody out, stop watching them. Just stop watching them. Stop talking about them. Stop commenting on their video or on whatever they're doing. Pretend like they don't even exist. And then, if your audience is watching their stuff, that's your audience's prerogative. They have the right to watch whatever they want to watch. They have the prerogative to watch whatever they want to watch. If you give them an ultimatum saying you either watch them or you watch me, chances are they're going to fuck off and go watch them. Because them isn't going to give them the ultimatum. The other one's going to be saying, welcome. And that's why at the beginning of all my live streams and my videos, I always say, ladies, gentlemen, pronouns, I'm welcoming you into this channel. I say, well, come in, listen, give me your ears for a few minutes. And I'll tell you a few little things about this video that's going on. But I got some interesting ones for the Michael Jackson video, and the one you gave me. Yeah, I found out some really interesting shit about that one. Like Ice Cube was going to use that hotel scene for one of his videos, and Backstreet Boys asked if they could use it before it got torn down, and Ice Cube was like, "Yeah, go ahead." All they did was paint the floor.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's Ice Cube. He was either going to use it or he used it in one of his videos. And Backstreet Boys said, "Hey, can we borrow it? We got an idea." But why they came up with the idea to do, the werewolf, the vampire, the Jekyll and
Doc-
Hyde, the mummy.
And the other one's the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, the other one was Phantom of the Opera. I forgot about that one.
A lot of people don't know what he is.
Yeah. I pointed that out in the reaction that I did. The video was actually inspired by the Michael Jackson Thriller. They wanted to do something epic, like a documentary about the band, and that's why they did that. Pre-scene, total video, and then the post scene, just like Michael Jackson did his with the pre-scene, the video, and then the post scene.
Yeah.
But the one thing Michael Jackson did that the Backstreet Boys did not do was Michael Jackson took all the choruses out and left them to the end of his video.
They just made an extended version of, their song with everybody Backstreet's Back because
they just added a few more Backstreets back.
Mm-hmm.
But Michael Jackson, he took out all the choruses and played them at the end after the zombie dance. And then, he basically, I love that video. I've always loved that video. It creeped me out the first time I watched it, but I've always loved that video. I've always loved that song, even though it creeped me out the first time I heard it. Christmas has already started in the Philippines. It started in September 1st. In the Philippines, they celebrate Christmas from September 1st to, I think, January 31st. It's like 6 months. It's like the one country in the world, and I'm not trying to say this as a detriment to them. The one country in the world that can barely afford Christmas celebrates it the longest. But they celebrate it in the sense that it's supposed to be celebrated as a time for giving love, giving giving from yourself to another person, giving each other respect, giving each other happiness. I think Nick Carter has huge problems now though, because he wasn't a part of the reunion tour. Ooh.
No, Nick had problems because of where Aaron passed. He was a part of the reunion tour. He is a part of it. He's just doing his own tour as well. So.
Oh yeah, probably scheduling conflicts.
Yeah, but I gotta go because my husband's calling. So.
Yeah, and I gotta get going too. I got some other things that I gotta get done. And, I literally wanna laugh so hard right now that I'm gonna start crying.
So
I don't want to show that on screen.
So bye everybody.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming up and letting us know about the great news with your daughter. Mm-hmm. Wish them all the love and give her all the love and tell her that we're here for her. We're here for them.
I will do. I'll see her Thursday, like I said. And I sent you some pictures of her blanket her grandparents made or had made for her.
Yep. Okay. So
bye-bye.
We shall see everybody on the next one. And until we get to the next one, folks, I wish everybody peace, love, and happiness.